So where are we right now with the Congress and Joe Biden and this funding on Ukraine? Again, before you answer that, I want to go back to something that HUD had come out with an estimation that it would take $20 billion to eradicate homelessness in America, and
Yeah.
another 20 to 40 to alleviate or eradicate poverty in America. Why are they so hell bent on funding Ukraine at the expense of Americans?
Yeah. The Robert Preston in the movie The Music Man, when he sang, "We got trouble right here in River City." Yeah, you know, we got big troubles here in America. This uh, we're living it. It's almost like watching a mentally ill person, someone with schizophrenia. Because on the one hand, as you correctly note, we're hurling multi billions of dollars overseas. It's not just in Ukraine. Look at what we spend in Afghanistan. Look at what we spend in Iraq. We're well over $1 trillion with all of those put together. And yet, here at home in our inner cities, we're the numbers are off the charts. Like 80% of the kids who are supposed to be graduating from a high school are barely literate, can barely do math or read. So they're not even being equipped with the intellectual skills they need to succeed in life. The family unit is under attack, or instead of, when you go back to like 1940, particularly among Black Americans, they had the highest marriage rate, of even higher than the Caucasians. And yeah, here we are, 90 years later, and you've got on both black and white where marriage is increasingly infrequent, more kids living in single parent households, and with that comes a whole host of social problems. And this sort of moral breakdown in America, I think, is directly attributed to a rejection of religious values. I think there's no doubt about it, which is one of the reasons we hate Russia, because those damn Russians, they're a bunch of religious people. Now, Russia's a really unique place. I just came back there. I was there a week and a half ago. They are 75% Christian. They practice this Eastern or Russian Orthodox Christianity. But there's also significant Muslim populations in Russia. They are not persecuted. They are embraced as part of the nation. They're not treated as something separate or odd. And the Muslims, Kadyrov is one of the more prominent political and military leaders, are profound Russian patriots. So Russia's found a way that it bridges these, ethnic, religious divides that a lot of times we find here in America. And the same thing on the racial side. They don't have this built-in sort of prejudice that, depending on how much skin color you got, that's suddenly you can become a better or worse person. I mean, it's just, we're saddled with some real bullshit in this country. Excuse me, but it's so irritating, particularly when you go see it in another state or another nation. And the difference between, Russia, for example, banned LGBTQ organizations. They passed a law. They said, what you want to do in the privacy of your bedroom, that's your business. But don't be bringing it to the streets. That, we're not going to allow that. So we're a nation that believes that the value is heterosexual, mother and father, children, that we want normal families. We're trying to promote that. And, that they passed that law a few weeks before we had this incident last week in the judiciary, in the hearing room of the Senate Judiciary Committee, where that staffer to Senator Ben Cardin was caught in some flagrant homosexual act, and they were filming it, and they thought it was like a cool thing, which is why they posted it on social media. Yeah, when the Russians look at us and say, those Americans are pretty, uh, degraded, degenerate, they got a point.
Well, well, Larry, don't you think the destruction of family, the 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 structure of family, and the defunding and the destruction of America's educational system lays at the base of the crumbling society of the immorality of America now? And isn't that just projected in politics now?
Yeah, yeah, no, it all flows from that. You can't, and it's not just confined to Democrats. We're seeing it on the Republican side. I mean, look at this guy who was the leader of the Republican Party in Virginia, uh, and he and his wife are out publicly about, oh, we're really against homosexual behavior. And then they found out that a woman that they brought into their marriage, so they had a threesome, and she's leveling rape charges against him. And so here's his wife out being this prominent anti-homosexual, and she's engaged in homosexual activity. I mean, come on. If if you're going to speak out and take a position, then by God, live. Don't just talk it, walk it. And that's the problem we've had this. Uh, I attribute it to nothing more than just selfishness, and people are only thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about any obligations to children, to community, to nation. And so when you attack the family like it's been attacked, and I maintain raising girls is one thing, raising boys is another. And if you're raising boys without a man in the house, without a father, those boys are going to get out of control. I don't care who they are, because I know growing up, one thing that kept me from doing some pretty stupid stuff was I was afraid of having to go home and face dad. And there are, I think most men will attest to that. Men that have grown up with a father, that the father sort of lays out the law and lays out the boundaries, and it helps keep guys from doing stupid stuff. And more often than you get young guys without a father and with a mother. I remember one time my mom was chasing me around the house with a baseball bat. I was laughing at her because I was now bigger than her. So,
but Larry, that says a lot, because America goes around the world with this high moral compass, and the world is looking at America's society and how it's in a tailspin downward. Has America lost her footing politically and geopolitically